like, subscribe, and comment. That'd be great.
Werewolf the Podcast can be found now at all good podcasting sites. This video is sponsored by Plop to Drop, the new app from App Store or Google Play that times the release from your ass to the water of your poop, and from that can work out your digestive health. Go find it. Plop to Drop.
Hello, this is Werewolf. Been away for a bit and haven't been sending stories to Louis, so thought I'd send some more. This is part 3 of the Viking's tale. We're now alone with Thorstein for a ride into England to have a battle with his little Saxons. The blood flows onto my blade as I drive it into the man's chest. I see his face as I twist and push it deeper through the ribcage and into his vitals. I keep eye contact and feel the delight of another enemy destroyed. He was brave, and he will ride with the Valkyries this evening, if he chooses. He smiles and thanks me for a heroic death, as the moment of reverent silence in the battle is lost, as, like the tide, reality rushes back in, and the noise and violence washes over me as I draw my sword from its flesh scabbard to find another. Many are not worthy of my attention, and I slash and kill those that lap at my shield as I survey the field for another of note to test myself against. And then I see him, Haglin. Haglin is sat amongst his huskarls. I recognise the emblazoned insignia held by this man. I've seen it before. These are the true Saxon warriors, worth the time to fight and the time to destroy. My boys press my sides, allowing me to work my way towards their shield wall. They scythe and trample their separate ways through the sea of bodies. We are a well-honed machine, the 12 of us. The berserk, but not berserk at this moment. This moment is us as a unit. We are brothers trained to be part of one forward moving machine. We slash and slay all before us, churning the flesh before us as we murder those not worthy of battle. The untrained, the charnel, we kill them without issue. I want to fight the best, the professionals, the soldiers that do this for a living or for death. There must be 20 of them, probably more, and you can see they are of a different level. The armour is such high quality. Helms, swords and shields are all beautiful. Each man is holding a teardrop shaped shield. They have a hand and a half sword and a spear. These are the best. At their back are more. We can't see them, but they hold poleaxes and are ready for the break of the wall into the melee. These are the skulls that will adorn the hull of my boat this evening, Fudan. Besides, I want one of those shields. They look like fun tools. Again, maybe we will learn something from these Saxons. Their steel is better than ours, and they have better weapons, but they are weak in will and spirit with their pathetic love of that god and his son, that slavish and sad one upon the cross. We clear the ground before us, and those less worthy know to get the fuck out of our way so we can play with the big boys. 10 yards open between us clear, and the Saxons turn to lock shields and display their spears to us as we march forward. We throw abuse and roar at the world. We look as though we have no conformity, no training in comparison. We each bear the weapons we wish to carry. All are different, but inside we are all one and the same. The Saxons now clash their shields and lock them and start to step forward in lockstep, each step with a roar of sound. They are committed and introduce the idea that this may be a wall that takes us one step too far, a wall that we could never break, a bristle of spears impossible to get through before we hit the impenetrable cliff of shields. I laugh and I roar my challenge as they set harder. They stop, ready for the berserk charge that will come from us. Everything stops. The war stops. Everything clears. Everyone stops to watch, including the old gods and the new, ready for this clash. I start to run forward with Fenrir at my heels. I start to cast my weapons hither and thither as I cover the distance between us. I'm naked, apart from the wolf skin that sits atop my skull. As a man, I know I'm terrifying to these tiny Saxons. They are a head below me in height and half my width. I come from the land of the giants, and they are from the land of the dwarves. As I run, I absorb my werewolf soul and become the snarling man-wolf, black and bestyled with eyes of burning amber. My running speed is now beyond human as I hit the wall before me. My crushing weight is in the tons. Truly an unstoppable force against an immovable object. I break the spears as I touch them and drive forward to try and make a hole through the wall before me. The wall, if broken, will be ours. In the open melee, our wolf pack will pick apart the soldiers used to their particular method of fighting. There will be no strategy or techniques in the melee, just warrior against warrior, weapon and strength against weapon and strength. I crash the line and surprisingly stop dead against the wall. My forward momentum is lost and the charge is over. The absorbed power ripples through the men, through the line of shields. They now call together and step forward as one on each shout. Many swords reach over the wall and slash at me. I have nowhere to go except to be crushed or pushed down by my own army. In response, I go up. I run up the wall, feet onto the pommels of the shields and then the tops, and now stand on the top of the wall itself for a moment. I stand on the precipice as I ready myself to leap into the press of men below. I need to take out these men to allow a hole for my own to enter the fray. Spears poke at me as I dive into the human mass, a shark in amongst the minnows. They're not in any position to fight me with each movement. I just tear and rend. Chainmail and leather are no barriers to my power and my claws. I kill easily, and the wounds that I gain are not of a significant level to cause me concern. They do not have enough space or power to cause the amount of damage that could kill this monster. They're not frightened though. Lesser men would have broken at the attack of a werewolf, not these professional warriors. They know that if they work together and keep their formations and mutual support going, they have the most excellent chance of surviving this day, as they have survived many others. I tear the helmet from one man as he screams at the loss of his scalp. He plunges his scramasax deep into my belly. I pull it free and throw it at the next man. I kick and gouge. My weapons are the claws of my limbs and the teeth in my head. I clear the path between the centre of the shield wall, and it collapses from that point out. It is now melee fighting. Open field and without the aid of others. This is where the berserk excel, biting their shields and the throats of their enemies to fight. They all wish for death, but only at the greatest of costs to those that side against them. Now the households panic and try to withdraw and regroup, but it's too late by far as we come in amongst them. A ball of hell is in each man. We don't strike to kill, we strike to injure and ruin. We aim to cause damage until none can continue. The cost is high and the turn of the tide is quick and final. Panic ensues as they are cut down and trampled. I now stand before him, breathing heavy. My wounds heal as he watches my heart rate falls. My brothers dispatch those that lie on the floor around me. Those that need to die are dealt the final blow and sent to wherever they believe they should go. Haglin and his standard bearer stand proud. They are now waiting to receive us. I wave my hands, stopping my own dogs from overwhelming the man and the boy at the top of the rise. The man casts his spear away and draws his sword from his belt. He lifts his shield and runs the blade down to the pommel at its centre, where he beats it with his own heart rate rhythm. He may be frightened, but it's not controlling him. He is ready and looking forward to this fight. I don't understand the Christian in him wanting to die. What has he to die for? His heaven does not look like mine. I must look like something from his good book, a demon of hell. My eyes are fires, and I am matted in blood and the offal of his own men. He sticks to me and colours my black pelt with the off-red of real blood. I smile, lifting my howling head to the sky. This is what I live for, A real fight with a real opponent willing to give his all. He is ready to leave everything here, and he is willing to die a painful death. I love shit like this. It's never a fair fight, but it is a fight much finer. We posture across from one another. Nothing is said, but in those moments I can gauge that he is a large and robust man in his 40s. He is strong, skilled, and experienced in this line of work. I have no idea what he gets from my display, but he shows no reflection of fear or outrage. His heart rate is still low and calm, as though this is just a typical day, doing the work that he loves, which it perhaps is. I now walk forward until there's a couple of meters between us, and I prepare to leap. Haglund steps back, sword raised and ready for the attack. I spring and land all 4 feet onto his shield, throwing him off balance and onto his back. He keeps the shield between himself and me, and somehow it holds. My claws score and shred, but do not destroy it. He lets the shield slip from his grasp as he turns to his knees and feet, slashing at my legs as he rises. I leap away just in time, allowing the blade to pass beneath my feet like some old 40s movie weaponry sort of choreography, a proper Star Trek moment. As he mists and the strikes suddenly backhand into my hip, where the blade sticks for a moment. This guy is good, and the pain sears down my side and into my right leg. He lets go of the weapon and reaches for one of the many held by his dead and dying men on the ground. The blade is stuck in me, and I struggle to remove it as he points with his new blade and laughs at my predicament. He says something I can't understand, then he retakes a defensive position, hefting a new shield from the floor in his left hand, and prepares his sword arm. This man is skilled and fit, but he's not the monster that I am. I limp forward as I drag the damaged hip with me. Once the weapon has been removed, it starts to heal, and I know that within the next few steps, it will return to its unhurt state. I now size my prey up a little better. He's not the rabbit, the runner, the escaper. He's the cornered badger, the fighter. He will die in the act of protecting himself. I need a change of plans. I pick a spear up from the ground and throw it at him. It slams into the shield and vibrates to a stop. The power of the throw splits the wood slightly and has had to make him readjust his weight as he's thrown onto his back foot. I lift another and again cast it at the shield. Again it bites deep and shudders to a halt, driving the man another step or two back. I let another fly, then another, then another. The shield is now off-balanced and weighty on the man's arm. It has become useless as a tool, and he casts it aside as he looks for another to replace it. Before he reaches, I cast a shaft once more. He has no choice but to focus on the weapons thrown against him. He has no time to replace the lost defense. He can only use his body movement and ability to dodge to remain safe. As I throw things, I walk forward, knowing he cannot stop defending himself enough to get away from me. I know I will reach him, and then he will be mine. He jinks and spins as he dodges the flying debris. Not just spears now, but anything I can grab to cause damage. Then I am on him. As he raises his sword, I grab his wrist with my left hand and his face with my right. I hear the muffled scream as I compress the head in my hand. I feel the bones of his skull start to flex under the pressure of my grip. I maintain the squeeze before they're pushed too far and crack, and crumble in my grasp. His head explodes like a ripe egg, and his body falls to the floor. He's definitely dead, and the tide of battle now turns as I follow my berserk brothers back into the fray. The standard falls from the shaking hands of the young boy holding it as I tear him in half. Now the battle is over. The rout has begun, and the slaughter will continue until there is none left to slaughter. Thanks for listening. Please like, share, and do all those things. Remember the podcast, Werewolf the Podcast. There's 2 of them out there. Mine's the one that's not about a game. Love you loads. Bye.